We're live.
All right.
Hey, ladies.
Good
Hey.
morning.
So
Good
this is
morning.
one of my favorite topics, and I couldn't think of two people I would rather do this with. So Jen and Gina, do you guys want to do like a really short intro, like really short, so we can give a whole lot of meat on the bone?
Absolutely. I'll start. How's that?
Go, Gina.
I'm Gina Riley. I am a career transition coach. I primarily work with leaders and executives who are in a career transition or planning one. And I am currently working on a book with the title still in the works that outlines my career transition coaching model. And I am so excited to be here with you two today.
Amazing. Jen.
Okay. So I am Jennifer Seffrey. I'm the CEO and founder of Intry Careers. And, we started doing these lives because we wanted to help job seekers figure out the things that they don't know, what they need to know so that they can get seen and, understanding your LinkedIn, how it works, how the personal brand, how everything's changed. That's kind of why we're here. And just a slight apology, I am traveling. And so I have found a nook in a coffee shop that has the best bandwidth I could find. So, but I'm super happy to be here.
So I'm Lindsay. I'm the CRO of Intry, and we are here to help job seekers. If you've seen any of these lives before, or if you're following any of us, you know that we're really passionate about helping job seekers land on their feet, and not just on their feet, but finding their dream job. And one of the ways that we do that is through LinkedIn. This is a big component to our boot camps, and this is a really important piece of building your brand. And so what we're going to do today is kind of break down some of the things you need to be thinking about on your profile and why. There's a whole lot you can do with it, but I think all of us would agree our brands, our personal brands, would not be a whole lot without LinkedIn. So it is where we find clients. It's where we network. It's where we make friends. I've traveled with a ton of my LinkedIn friends, but ultimately it is how you project yourself to the world. So I just want to start and kick it off and talk about one of the things that I think is a very neglected piece of everyone's profiles, and that is checking your settings, which sounds like super dull, but you cannot be discoverable and invisible at the same time. So you have to make sure that your settings are set to a way that everyone can see you. And how you do that is when you click on your profile, so your beautiful page, there is something on the upper right-hand side that says your URL, and you can click on the little pencil. You want to make sure that it's your name or it's how you want to be represented, because sometimes LinkedIn applies numbers and other things that don't make sense. And if you have a name like Jim Jones, bad name, but if you have a name like Robert Williams or something like that, that was a really bad choice.
Whoops.
If you have that name,
it's a while ago. It's fine. It's all good.
You might need something else to set you apart. So maybe that's your company name. Maybe it's what you do. Maybe you're a coach, whatever. You want to make sure that that URL is good. But below that is a bunch of switches. And you want to make sure all of those switches are switched to green. Because guys, when someone Googles you, this is what pops up. Unless you have a website, LinkedIn is the thing that pops up first. So you want to make sure they can see all of you. And if you have not put out a profile picture, please change that. And please make sure it's from the last couple of years, because we see a lot. Yeah, go.
And make sure it's appropriate. It's not a dating site.
It's not a dating site.
It's not Instagram. It's not Twitter.
And no sunglasses and no hats. Like, let us see your face. And please don't look like a serial killer, because that is not a great inviting look. And we've seen those pictures.
We've seen it all.
It's a little scary. So be welcoming in your picture. And guys, if you don't have a headshot, don't panic. Your little iPhone has so much power in it. You can just put it in portrait mode. You can do a selfie with a nice fall background. Doesn't have to be fancy, but try not to make it look like a mugshot.
What I say is most of us have teenagers in our lives that really know how to take a great photo with an iPhone or a smartphone. So just get a little help, get your hair and makeup or whatever it is you need to have done.
Lighting.
Simple you know, attire at the top that flatters your coloring, and get a very simple background with great lighting. And I worked with a lot of a lot of executives who, you know, at first when I see their headshot, they have a stern look on their face as if like, hey, I'm very dependable and trustworthy. But you need to look like the person that people want to work for. You know, an inviting, you know, sort of expression on your face. And I concur on make sure that LinkedIn URL is customized for you. And if you have a common name, like Lindsay said, you can add a little something to it. My husband has a very common name. And so right in front of his full name, he has, or at the end, he has exec. So it's his full name and then exec. But some people put in middle initial. So there's things you can do to not make it look like that ugly stream of numbers.
So you guys, I want to interject just one, I think, really interesting fact. And it's not just like, you know, us making this up, but according to LinkedIn, users with complete profiles are 40 times, 40, more likely to receive job offers. So it's not just, you know, we're not here to just tell you how to be fancy. We're here to tell you how to leverage the system. And I really kind of hate saying it, but kind of gaming the system, right? If you want to stand out, you've got to do what Lindsay said. You don't want your LinkedIn profile to be like this monstrous set of keywords and forward slashes and numbers and letters that don't think that they mean anything, right? You want it to be like, you know, LinkedIn, Lindsay Dowd, dot, you know, like that's what you want people to see. So, but just think about it. It's 40 times more likely to get noticed by a recruiter or open for work if you do those fundamentally basic things that Lindsay shared. And
so, go ahead, Jen.
No, I was just going to do, and you guys, you know, I mean, I'm sure all of you who are attending know that we are doing a career accelerator group for, you know, mostly directors and executives. Next Thursday and Friday, we have opened up a couple more spots because so many people have been interested. So go to the site. We'll put the link in the chat and sign up, because this is just like one teeny tiny segment of what you guys are going to be getting. And also today, it's going to be probably a 30-minute live. And so like, get your questions in, let us know what comments you have, questions, comments, so we can sort of get to it.
Yeah, fire away. Fill in the chat. I know we've got a nice crop of people listening in. So thank you for being here. And we definitely want to answer your questions. But let's just hit on a couple more things that people must pay attention to. And one of my favorites is the banner. So you have this giant piece of real estate on your profile. This is your billboard. This is what you are projecting to the world. So if you've given up your banner to a landscape or to a picture of something or a bug or something that doesn't represent you, you're missing out. So think about, what do you want people to know about you? Because it's the first thing they see. You want it to be nice to look at. I would recommend don't use italics. I would recommend try to stay away from script. You want it to be easy to read, easy to digest. And guys, there's a ton of room in that banner. I mean, if you look at mine, if you look at it, like I could give you 10 people to go look at. There's a lot of stuff that I put in that banner, but it doesn't look too crowded. It doesn't look overloaded. But when you look at it, you see what I stand for. So Gina just said in the comments, the easiest thing to do, go to Canva and you type in LinkedIn banner and it will give you a slew of templates and you can start to zhuzh it. If you see a template that you like, but it's the wrong color, change the color. Easy. But think about what is important for people to know about you. And one really important thing, your face is on the left-hand side of your banner. So you want to shift everything over to the right and center it that way. Because if you put any text or anything you want people to see underneath it, it's going to be steamrolled by your beautiful mug, which is not a good look. So make sure that you are putting good things in there that is going to project who you want people to know you are.
So to recap what y'all just said, okay, one, you know, the key elements, right? One, use a professional headshot. Two, create a compelling headline, make it clear, concise, and aligned with your goals, right? Three, the customized URL, which is the upper button that Lindsay talked about. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference in your personal branding.
Totally.
And then, you know, like an analogy to me of this would be think of your LinkedIn profile as your digital business card, right? Even though business cards aren't as popular as they used to be, it's the first impression.
That's
And
right.
we all know that first impressions really matter.
They do. And you can tell if somebody's like created it and it's a little rough. You want to just make it elegant. You want to make it polished and really speak to who you are. And oh, by the way, a really good trick is leverage tools like ChatGPT or Claude if you are trying to find just the right words to talk about yourself. Sometimes you just aren't saying it right, or you use a tagline and you say, this is kind of what I do. How do I shorten this, make it provocative, make it impactful? And one of those tools can really be very helpful in helping you figure out what those are. And can we show you a good example of a banner? Yeah, I'll give you one right now. Go to Liam Darmody, Darmody. Liam's is really good. I'll give you mine. Our own Anna Lang helped me create mine. So I actually love my banner. So you can certainly look at mine. Another one is my friend Jerry Bui, Bui. Jerry is an expert witness. His is super clear.
I think Andrew Gibbs.
Oh, Andrew Gibbs. Oh my God. The Data Cowboy.
Has a great
He's got
banner.
one of the best brands out there, 100%. So yeah, those are some good banners to go look at, and you can certainly check anybody out that's engaging with us. There's a lot of really, really great ones to discover. Gina, what would you say is, in your opinion, one of the more neglected areas of a LinkedIn profile? Because I've got like 5 more, but I want you to chime in with yours.
Ooh, okay. Well, I want to answer that in 2 ways, if I may. One is, what do I think is most important to be found as a job seeker? And then what do I think is neglected? There's 2 separate things.
Yep.
So I'm affiliated with an executive search firm, Talents Group. And so I've done searches and I've been in LinkedIn looking for people. And so the first thing you have to do, like Jennifer said, the digital calling card, is you've got to have a sharp banner, a good photo, and a great headline that really speaks to what you do. So if you want to be found and you're in the job search process, you don't want it to say unicorn chaser. It needs to be chief operating officer in manufacturing or whatever that is. Because my teammates have told me, as I interview them and I write stories and such, they're like, just tell me, give me what I need to know so I know if I should call you. Don't be coy, don't be fluffy, tell us. So that headline's got to be there, and that first 2 lines in your LinkedIn about summary, hugely important if you want to be found. And then the whole profile needs to have keywords and phrases that they're using in the drop-down menus in LinkedIn Recruiter to find you.
Yeah.
And as Kevin D. Turner says, it is simple math. What you put into your profile is going to be digitally matched up with what the recruiters are looking for. Feed the algorithm what it needs to know. Now, what is most neglected? Recommendations.
Wait, can I just one quick second? I just want to add one thing to what you said, Gina, and that is make sure that when you are looking for a specific job and in specific areas, make sure that your banner has a handful, and the summary has a handful of some of the SEO words, right? So that it's discoverable. Would be something that I would add on to what you're saying, right? You want to tell your story, you want to align it with your professional goals, you want to use keywords. And research shows that bios that are written in first person tend to feel more authentic and relatable to recruiters.
I love that you said
now, I know that's
Jen. So one of the things that I love to teach is your about section should be written in the first person. And your about section is your journey. It's a place where you can use your authentic voice. You can be funny. You can add emojis. You can add bullets. One hot tip, and I think you ladies will agree with me on this, there is a psychology on LinkedIn. If you present me with a paragraph, my immediate knee-jerk response is, I don't have time for that. I'll read 30 bullets, but I can't read a paragraph. So when you write in your about section, do it in bullets, do it in short little paragraphs. That is a way someone can peruse it quickly and get what they need to know. But go to my about section. You can look at that format. Feel free to steal it. Don't steal the content, but steal the format. And it would look pretty weird if I saw your stuff with my things. But really, it's a chance for you to show some personality. So take advantage of it. Gina.
And Gina, I interrupted you. I know. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure that we got back to that. So I apologize.
Sure. So we could talk about this obviously for hours and hours. I'm going to jump to the recommendation section because I do think that's overlooked.
Yeah.
If I'm going to market for a leader, I'm looking for a CEO or a CFO. I am going to look from top to bottom at someone's profile. I may not read every word. I can tell you I won't, but I do go down to the bottom and I look and I see if the person has given recommendations. What kind of leader doesn't give recommendations to people and give kudos? And then the other is, how have they had any that are recently received? And there's a way to go about getting recommendations is to create a table, and in the first column, who's worked for you. Next column, who's worked with you. Next column, who have you worked for? And then people outside the organization that, might be vendors, suppliers, customers, and come up with the top 3 in each of those columns to start giving.
Yes.
And asking for recommendations.
So the best way to get a recommendation is to give. So I just put it in the comments. Your homework, if you are listening, go write 3 unsolicited recommendations this week and write them. So they're so beautiful that you're going to make someone cry, not in a bad way, in a good way. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to turn around and write you one in return. You don't even have to ask. Sometimes they don't see them. So you can follow it up with a text, and that text should just say, hey, Jen, I just wrote a recommendation about you. I hope you love it. It's on LinkedIn. I'm not asking her for anything. I'm letting her know it's there in case she didn't see it. Okay.
Well, and I will say, Lindsay, like when we first connected, I had no idea that there were recommendations on the bottom because I didn't really scroll down that far on my LinkedIn. And so I now have made an effort to go back, even when people asked me a couple of years ago to write a recommendation. And these are people who I really cared about, but I didn't know that they had asked me for them.
Yeah.
So I would almost say, like, if you don't hear back and you really would love them to write something that's reciprocal, they could have been like me and not knowing that the recommendation section was even there. And just to like maybe close this part out is that I think of like your LinkedIn bio, your banner, this summary is like a bio, I don't know, like a trailer to a movie, right? It should captivate the audience, the recruiters, the HR managers that are looking for you in just a few seconds and leave them to wanting to know more. And it's even people that you want to connect with, to expand your network, to expand your circle. What is our research said? Like you've got like 7 seconds, same as a resume, right? You got 7 seconds when people look at that, and you need to make that 7 seconds count.
So
right? It's gotta count.
Couldn't agree more. And we're not going to dig in on all of the pieces because there's just not enough time for that. But there are other areas that we pay attention to, like skills, very important, very neglected. And there's a whole lot you can do with that. But we've got to pivot a little bit because we've got to talk a little bit about engagement and a content strategy and why these things even matter. So I think the first big misconception that people make is, okay, well, if I judge my profile and I get it right, now I've got to go start creating content. That's not actually true. How you grow is in the comments. So if you start going out and you start commenting on people you admire, or let's say you want to work for a company and you identify that company, go look at what the senior officers are posting, go comment. And you're never, because you're here, you are never going to just write great post because that's crap. So you are actually going to write why something is compelling to you, why it resonated with you, and it's going to make you look smart. So they're going to be like, I don't know who this Gina is, but she's showing up in my comments and she sure is nice. We ought to be connected. And that's how you grow. But it's also how you show up as a subject matter expert. So really think about being generous. Think about telling people, oh, this was brilliant because, and I love this because. Never great post, but say something else. Gina, what do you have to add to that?
Oh, I 100% agree. Start with the comments. Love it. I just said that in the comments of our LinkedIn Live. And then I would also say follow the people that you admire and click the follow button, ring the bell at the top of the profile, ring the double bell.
We got to talk about the bell.
Let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
and then which is if you ring the bell at the top of someone's profile, you are more likely to get notified when they post, which is
Yes.
great. It doesn't always work, but it's better than nothing. And then the
Well,
other,
and there's 3 settings on the bell now.
oh,
There's 3 settings on the bell. You can see everything someone posts, only relevant things, which means LinkedIn decides what's relevant,
mhm,
or nothing at all. So you can mute people if you're tired of hearing them.
mhm,
But if you have someone you want to impress, ring that bell. Click all.
definitely.
Keep going, Gina.
So follow them and then follow the companies that you are really interested in working for, because you're also feeding the algorithm. You'll be more likely to get things in your feed from
Yes.
those companies. And what if the recruiter is looking at your profile and like, oh, they're already following us? That's fantastic. It's just one little bump up. It's one
Yeah.
extra mile.
Yeah. I think also, I don't know how many people know this, but if you go out to a specific company, let's say it's Orvis or I don't know, LL Bean or whatever, you go out there and you click on their company page, click on the jobs tab on that page, and then create a job alert. And when you do this, it alerts their recruiters that you're interested in working for them. That's cool. And let's say you already did it. You did it a while ago. Undo it, redo it, and it notifies them again. But that's a little known thing that people don't even realize they can do. It's
Would you
just
recommend doing that every 2 weeks?
no, I think a little longer than that.
Okay.
I think a little longer than that. But I think showing up to all the senior people that work there makes a big difference because they see this generous person who has bright ideas, who clearly jives with their culture and their brand. That's really what you want to show externally. So what we're alluding to with all of these different pieces and parts is we're setting you up for the most success you could have in your job search. And even if you're not in the job search, this is still important because
And
this
expanding
is
your network, because you never
right.
know when you're going to need them, right? You're 7 times more likely to have your profile discovered if you engage in posts.
Yep.
Right now, it doesn't need to be the level of any of us, but if you're doing it, it's like planting a garden, right? You tend the garden. The more you water it, the more you nurture it, the more you pick the weeds out of it, the better your results are going to be, right? And I know we only have like maybe 8 more minutes. At least I have 8 more minutes. You guys might be able to continue to go on, but we did have one quick question, and that was someone asked how much detail in job description should we put under a role? Is there any standard amount of text?
Yeah. So in the experience section, the most important thing you should do is write the most compelling and important thing you did in that job as your first sentence. Very often, that's all people will see. And most people don't open everything else up. So you just make sure that that first sentence is really spot on and pow right in the kisser, really, really good. I wouldn't do too much more than that. You have a resume and that you'll be able to use in those job searches. Gina, do you agree with that?
I agree, and I'm going to add to it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're a recruiter, like you put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter trying to find you. What do they need to see? And I think of what they need to see as an upside down triangle. Think of your shoulders as like all the scope of responsibility you had on your shoulders and then everything down here. You're not going to be communicating all this minutia on a LinkedIn profile down here, but size and scope, spoon feed the recruiter. How large was your team size? Did you have a global team? Was it multi-site? What were you leading? What were the functional areas you were leading? So if you're a marketing, a CMO, there's different functional areas under that marketing job that may trigger the algorithm for you to be found. But then the recruiter is also seeing immediately, they are the size and scope that I am looking for and putting them on my to-call list.
Love that.
So if that's all they see, that's that first 2 lines.
Right. And I totally agree with that. And one thing I just wanted to circle back with, because we talked a little bit about SEO, and there was someone that we were working with, and it's a success story example, right? So it was, an attendee, right, of our then boot camp, now career accelerator, optimize their profile using specific keywords like, digital marketing strategist. And they saw a 50% increase in recruiter engagement within weeks. We also saw that with someone who was in the medical field, right, and was sort of moving to a similar but adjacent career, right, and had 200 people, 200 connections, and now is over 1,000. Right? They don't engage more than once a week, but they, are nurturing their connections. They're networking with intent. And all of that ties into what this whole LinkedIn Live is about. And that is your personal brand, LinkedIn, and the power. Turn your LinkedIn profile into a career magnet. Like, y'all hold the power. We're trying to give you the tools to be able to do it. I mean, you can listen to us, or you can disregard us. It's totally up to you. But doing it will really help, right? And I think, listen, like, job seekers and people who are in career transitions, I think especially directors and up, it's maybe been a minute since you've been looking for a job in your LinkedIn profile and you didn't, think you needed to do it. And I'm a perfect example, right? I had a lot of connections and followers, but my LinkedIn profile wasn't really a great representation. And Gina's the one who called it out. She was very nice, told me it was trash. She didn't say that. She was very nice about it. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's pretty bad, And so when you look at your LinkedIn banner, just circling it back and the whole, right, turn your LinkedIn profile into a career magnet. That's what this topic is about. Don't just have a picture of like your kids. That's not probably great. Don't just have a picture of waves in the ocean or a sunrise or a sunset or a picture with lilies in it or, mountains or whatever. Like, what does that say about you? Are you a photographer? I don't know. So if I'm cruising through a bunch of profiles, right, I need to know what you do. You got 7 seconds. Sorry, I just want to circle back to that one thing.
No, it's so important. And, you have to remember, this is your landing page. Unless you have a website, this is your landing page. So when people come and look at you, give them something to chew on. Give them something that's going to go, I want to know more. And, I am a big believer, and I know many of us are here, of adding a little bit of the human side. So if you look at my profile, it says wiener dog lover and it says mom of twins. The amount of people that like to connect on those things, it's staggering. But you know what? I gave them a softball. I gave them an opening, so an easy way for someone to get to know me. And the amount of people that I'm a twin, or my brother's a twin, or my mom was a twin, or whatever, those little things matter. And we are no longer separating our work life and our personal life. We are looking at these people as whole people. So it's okay to add a little bit of personal to your profile, and I'd encourage it. So anything on that you want to add?
That's perfect.
Okay. So can we talk a little bit about the accelerator we've got coming up?
I think we should.
Yeah,
I think we should.
So in a nutshell, I just want to tell you what you get, because I think people hear, oh, career, blah, 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 it's hard. Yes, it's really hard. And we get that. But one of the things we recognized was we need to focus on the 360-degree job search. So while LinkedIn is important, it's just one piece. And there's a whole bunch of pieces. So let me tell you what's in this career accelerator. So first, you're going to get 4 to 5 versions of your resume. Second, you're going to get your unique value prop. How do you tell your story in small, medium, and large? So if someone were to ask you, what do? You know exactly what to say, and it's going to be compelling and it's going to be awesome. Then you get your optimized LinkedIn profile with a graphic design banner and a curated headline. You're going to get interviewing tips and techniques. You're going to get to build your personal brand and tips on how to do that. You're going to get to speak with recruiters. You're going to get salary negotiation and mental health, because job searching is hard. And this was the piece that was such an eye-opener when we did the first boot camp. I was stunned by how everybody was like, I don't need the mental health piece. That's nice, but like, let's focus on the other stuff. And as soon as we got there, every single person was like, I can't believe how much I needed that. And the reality is, this is hard. You have to manage people's expectations. Often your partner, sometimes your kids, your friends. And what tools do you have that's going to help you feel strong and feel confident? And that's what we give you. So tons and tons of value. It's 2 days. We crush it. The testimonials were phenomenal. Would love to see people join. I know we're waitlisted, as Jen said, for October. We've got openings in November.
We added 3 spots.
Oh,
We
amazing.
added 3 spots because we had the, an extra coach who really wanted to be part of it. But I think, like, listen, we don't want to make a sales pitch, right? I mean, like,
Yeah.
this is something that, we crafted, we honed, we did a lot of research to figure this out. And it's really for people who, are in need of help and or are in career transition, right? It's not a joke. It's not free. Nobody works for free.
No.
We don't work for free, but it is like the
But
best.
it's a great value. It's a huge value.
You're investing
Huge
in yourself.
value. I mean,
You're
and I
investing in
think
yourself.
if you engage with everybody that's on this panel individually, it'd be $50,000,
Yep.
right? It's not. And so I think that we hear a lot from people who want to do it and they're like hemming and hawing. And it's like, listen, if you're going out to dinner a couple nights a week, you're getting, things done to yourself or to your house or to whatever, what is your career worth? Because those are the things that are going to pay for those things. No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you gotta, like, you are investing in yourself. Who else is gonna invest in you but you? Like, no one owes you anything. The hiring managers, the recruiters, like, you owe it to yourself to figure out what's changed in technology, what's changed in recruiting, what's changed in HR. How do you get past it? How do you figure out your UVP? How do you do your resume? How do you do your LinkedIn profile? How do you do your banner? How do you network? How do you craft messaging? How do you figure out your job strategy? How do you deal with your mental health? How do you negotiate your salary? And you do it in 2 days. Like, I'm just saying, I think it's a great value and we'd love to have you. There's a few spots left in November too, I think. We need to check the list.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, you guys are amazing. I am so thrilled and honored that you guys are here. Gina is, an award-winning coach. So is Lindsay. I'm a technology builder, right? I figure out how you get through the ATS systems and how people see your resume, once it's been crafted, and we do a bunch of other things, but that's sort of what the core started with our patented software. But these guys are the best of the best, which is why we're doing this. And we're not pandering, but it's amazing. On that note, I think you guys rock. I really appreciate it. I've got to run because I've got to catch a plane, but I did not want to miss this opportunity. And listen, if you guys have any questions, reach out to us on LinkedIn. Set up 15
we're
minutes.
happy to
happy
talk
to
with
do
you
that.
about it. Happy to talk with you about it. We can actually put you in touch with some of the folks who've taken the boot camp. But it is, like we said, massively valuable. And if you are in this job search, you will not solve all your problems just doing your resume or just doing your LinkedIn profile. You got to figure out how to really level up. And that's what we really help you do. So, ladies,
I got to go. I'll see you guys later. Thank you, everybody who made time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye, ladies.